much like songs, there are things that have happened in our life that have just made us lose where we were. I don't know about you, but there were some songs that would come on and I would just black out. Because it wasn't even what they were singing, it was about me remembering what I was doing when I heard that song sometime before. Some people understand what I'm talking about. Well, I just totally just blanked out and said, well, where am I? And in life, when we get to a place like this son that had took his stuff and left, we sometimes can lose our way. He got to a place where he was partying and he had money because he said he took his wealth. You don't take a little pocket change. You don't take traveling change and call it wealth. It says when he took his wealth and went to a far country. See, sometimes we try to go as far as we can so we can party like we truly want to. Do I have anybody, and don't be ashamed, but do I have anybody who's ever partied before? Now, for me, when I was a party dude, I wanted to go far. I didn't really want to be around a whole bunch of people I knew because I really wanted to party. I didn't want somebody to say, oh, that's Jarrett, or oh, that's Barbara's son, or oh, that's Joe. I wanted to party and not worry about who was looking. Whatever my party was, I wanted it to be my birthday party. I wanted it to be a real party. I didn't want the party with the children. I didn't want the party with Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I needed some adult party stuff going on. And before you know it, in the middle of your party, in the middle of your enjoying, in the middle of doing what it is that you do best, you mess around and spend more than you expected to spend. If for nothing less, you expended more energy than you anticipated in the beginning. You came in with all your party for the party, but you didn't have enough party left to go home. This man, he took all of his wealth, and sometimes life will take us further than we expected. See, I've been around people who said they can drink. I mean, people who said they can really drink, only to drink themselves further than they originally expected. I've been around people who said they can party and messed around and I partied themselves. Only to try to figure out, how am I going to make it back home? Have you ever been in a situation where you enjoyed yourself up until you recognize everything that you spent, and now you're trying to figure out how I'm going to make it back home? This young man had moved past his last $2. He didn't have these last $2. He had nothing left. He had partied in a foreign country. And let me tell you something. For him to use all his wealth, he wasn't partying by himself. It's funny how many people you can find to party with you when you foot the bill. It's funny how it is when drinks on me. He had partied himself into a frenzy and spent all he had in a foreign country. Now you would think that after all the partying he did, somebody in there was cool enough to help him make it back home. You would think that he had a designated driver. You would think that he had somebody who would lift him up or pick him up. You would think that he had somebody that had his back, but he found himself by himself after all his party. And in our lives, some of us have partied our way into a circle of being by ourselves, trying to figure out, can I make it? How can I make it? Is it possible for me to make it back home? He's in a foreign country. He's in a situation where now he has to find means to pick himself back up. In the Bible, in the 15th verse of the 15th chapter, says that so he went and hired himself to a citizen of that country who sent him to feed the pigs. This is a public service announcement. When you are down on your luck, be careful who you connect yourself with. See, when you are in a bad way, things that you know you shouldn't be connected to, you will connect to anything when you're in a bad situation. Because when you are, and this is an acronym, but when you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, you will do anything. That acronym is hard. But in the worst situations is when you will find yourself making the worst decisions. See, when you are rejuvenated, when you are well awake, when everything is great, when everything is good, when you have money in the bank, when wife is acting right, when husband is acting right, when boyfriend is acting right, when girlfriend is acting right, when all that stuff is in line, and I'm talking separate, not husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, but you get what I'm saying. When everything is in line, your decision-making process is a lot better. It's easier. When you have money in the bank, it's easy to decide, oh, we're going to go to Papa's or Papados, or, well, but when you don't and you're trying to figure out now where does this coupon go and does it expire? I just want to make sure I'm in the right house. Am I the only person that's ever had to go to that coupon and recognize that it was expired and try to use it anyway? Put your thumb over the date and say, hey, can I get 2 for? Oh, it was expired. I didn't even know it. My bad. Can I still use it? This boy was in a foreign country. He came from a place where he can ask his dad for half his stuff and leave with wealth. That means his daddy had to be pretty well off if he can say, Daddy, can I get half my stuff? Not half your stuff, but just half of my stuff and leave with some wealth. That means that he came from a place where he could be truly blessed. That he was from a place where there was status, that he can go to his father and ask his father for what it is he needs, and his daddy can give it to him and not sweat about it. That means he came from a blessed place. No matter where we are in life or what we've been through or where we're from, I need you to know that you are a child of the King and you come from a blessed place. I need you to know that no matter what mistakes that you have made, whether somebody did something to you or whether you did it to yourself, you come from great stock because your Father loves you and He owns it all. Before you link yourself up with somebody who don't care anything about you anyway, I would go back to my Father was the one who gave me what I asked for in the first place. My Father was the one who had the ability to say, here is what you want, and it gave me the opportunity to go to a far country and do my thing. If He was able to give me what I needed when I asked, why am I trying to hook up with somebody else now? And so listen to what happens, because I need you to really get this. If you look at our lives, that when he went to this far country and he hooked up with this servant, he indentured himself. He went to work for a citizen in this far country. The citizen told him, I need you to feed my pigs. That citizen didn't recognize who he was talking to. And if you allow yourself to be chained up into connections that you don't need, they will devalue what they think of you because they don't know truly who you are. They just know what they want you to do. See, if you really think about it, the things that they're asking you to do are things that you wouldn't normally do, but because you to an end, you finding yourself doing things that you said that you would never do. And you're not getting any residual from it because really all you are doing is what they want you to do, not what you were called to do. Have you ever woke up in a situation saying to yourself, I know I'm better than this? I'm not tripping and I'm not capping, I'm not pumping yourself up, but I'm saying that when I look at the situation, I know that I have no business out here feeding these pigs, not from where I came from. I came from a situation where the Bible says I was more than an overcomer. I came from a situation that said I was blessed in the city and blessed in the field. I came from a situation that said that I would be the head and not the tail. And I find myself feeding the pigs. It went a step further because as I understand my Bible, it says that while he was feeding the pigs, he began to long to eat what the pigs were eating. The Bible says that he began to long for the same pods that he was feeding the pigs. He had gotten to a place where he had forgotten who he was, and he had forgotten what it was that he was called to do, and he began to lower his standards to that which he was feeding. In life, sometimes we find ourselves down this road where not only have we forgotten who we are, but we have now lowered our standards to be willing to accept anything. And the only way that he could get to that point in life was that he feel like he wasn't worthy. He had to be in a place where he felt like he didn't deserve anything better. Now, it's one thing for you to be in a bad situation. It's another thing for you to put yourself where you feel like you don't deserve better. Have you ever thought that your time had passed you and the only thing that you deserve is whatever it is that you get? I didn't expect a lot of amens because that would be telling. It would be telling of the mindset. It would be telling of what you were thinking. It would be telling of what you really feel that you deserve. This young man was on the road to life, feeling like he didn't deserve what it was that he was accustomed to. He felt like he had squandered all his money and he had disrespected his father and he had put himself in a position to where he didn't deserve anything better. It's a hard place in life when you have given up on yourself. See, the enemy can't stop you. The enemy just wants to distract you, right? But if he can get you to the place to where you have given up on yourself, he's already won. If he can get you to believe that you don't deserve anything else, he don't have to worry about you trying to get anything else. If he can get you to believe that you don't deserve a better job, he can get you to stop applying for the job that God had for you. If he can get you to believe that you're unworthy because of the mistakes that you have been through, he will allow your mistakes to keep you captured. And there ain't nothing like somebody stuck in the past. If I'm still living 1985 all over again, I done missed a better part of almost 3 decades. And if I don't make any progression forward, see, he is starting to try to get him to focus down when God's desire is for him to look up. And this boy messed around and remembered his father. The Bible says while he was sitting there, he said he remembered his father. And not only that, he didn't even think at his father's level, but he thought at the servants who worked for his father. He said, would any of my father's servants even be in this type of situation? He began to pull himself together. He wasn't already there yet. He wasn't all 100% back together. And sometimes life takes the process. I understand that you was riding high 2 days ago, 2 years ago, 2 months ago. Now you're down. But sometimes the process of life happens. And so this young man began to recover. And I don't know about you, but I feel sometimes in my life that I'm in the recovery stage where I find myself in a hog's pen of life, whining and complaining, tripping on the situation, upset about what happened, and focusing on it and not focusing on my father. And then I recognize that as long as I focus on where I am, I will stay stuck in my situation. And my mind will start playing tricks on me where I'm thinking that me and these pigs. Have you ever looked at your surroundings and said, man, am I supposed to be here? I've had some times, and I call this my Jarrett grin, where I had the grin where I really wasn't smiling. I was really saying to myself, there's something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. You know, you get, some of y'all know what I'm talking about when you're sitting there. Really? Am I really here? Man, I could have been. This young man picked himself up and said, it's time for me to go home. He was that dude that was in Tunica and knew he had to come back to Houston. Tunica was the last big bite deal earlier this year. All right? It's Tunica, what? Yeah. Harder than Tunica. Long way home. Especially if you wasn't trailing on your bike. Ain't that right? Found himself traveling back home. On the way to his recovery, he didn't even have on the inside of him that he was going to get back to the place that he was supposed to be. He said, listen, I don't even deserve to be my father's son anymore, even though that's not your call. I don't deserve to get back to the situation. Hey, you don't have no say-so in that matter. Even though he was the one who I was birthed from. If I can only be as one of his servants. So I'm going to do a play on words here, so I can make sure we stay on the same page. But if we could only come into the house of God as one of God's servants, we can see what God will do. If we came in with a mindset to serve, see, a part of his recovery was he had to come down so that God can pick him back up. You know, because the reality, that was a pretty bold statement when the younger son came to his daddy and said, give me my stuff. But if you live in the West household, you don't own no stuff. This stuff is my stuff. This stuff I pay. Your room is my room that I'm letting you stay in. But this young man showed up to his daddy and said, give me my stuff. Give me what's mine. Not what I worked for, but give me what's mine. Not what I contributed, but give me what's mine. That's a pretty bold statement for this young man, only to go and lose it. And turn around and come to himself. The Bible says he came to his senses. The King James Version, if I'm correct, it says he came to himself. He began to recognize that, man, I was out here tripping. And though I had the teaching at the house, and Bible says, while he was far off, his father saw him coming. I need you to know that on this road to recovery, while you are trying your best to make it home, your father is actually coming to meet you while you are going to meet him. I thank God, because the truth of the matter is I really didn't have the strength to make it all the way back anyway. So I thank God that the Father met me as I was coming back to him. It tells me a couple of things. It tells me that he was looking for me to come home, because if he wasn't looking for me, he wouldn't have saw me from afar. And it tells me this, that even though I have messed up, my father still recognizes